Good evening, Philippines, and good day, world. It's Friday, October 6, 2023, and you're watching Newsline World. I'm Frederico Velloso.
And I'm Deivid Lira. We are here to bring you the top stories together from all over the globe.
Filipino governors stress the importance of intelligence and confidential funds for national security.
Russian President Vladimir Putin challenged the West and its right to warn anyone.
A tragedy struck Iran after a drone attacked the Syrian Military College during a graduation ceremony, leaving dozens dead and hundreds more injured.
In the United States, thousands of healthcare workers took the streets to demand better pay and benefits amid the rising cost of living.
And Gilas Pilipinas overcomes Jordan, bringing home gold for the Philippines at the 19th Asian Games.
These and more for tonight's edition of Newsline World.
In the news, several governors explained the significance of confidence and intelligence funds and how they are often used against government's adversaries. They also touched on the information that is frequently not disclosed. MJ Mondehar files this report.
The Bakabayan bloc has raised concerns about Davao City's confidential funds during Vice President Sara Duterte's tenure as a city mayor. According to the Commission on Audit report from 2016 to 2022, Davao City allocated over 2 billion pesos to confidential funds. However, South Cotabato Governor Jun Tamayo sees no issue with the COA report. He believes it is normal for local chief executives like mayors and governors to have confidential funds. But how do governors use these funds?
Meron kami mga tao doon na siniswelduhan para magbigay ng feedback sa atin. Meron rin tayong siniswelduhan para doon sa ibang mga lawless elements. Meron rin tayong binibigyan na nasa mga community, nasa sa mga restaurants, nasa mga karinderya, nasa mga terminal, mga transport terminal. Lahat yan nakadeploy yan, lahat yung mga tao natin na hindi dapat malaman dahil ito naman sila nagbibigay sa atin ng mga intel report.
Governor Tamayo emphasizes that confidential funds are being used to prevent the illegal activities of the enemies of the state. The law allows the use of confidential intelligence funds for, number one, acquiring information crucial for national security, supporting operations that reveal or halt illegal activities that could damage government property, rewarding informants and paying for vehicles and renting safe houses for their witnesses.
Ang military police may sariling intelligence community yan. Pero merong intelligence community rin ang mga local chief executives dahil yung mga military police, papasok yan sila dyan, aalis, hindi man sila talaga dyan. Kami na mga local chief executives talagang babad kami dyan. At yung mga tao mismo sa ground ay alam namin, kilala namin. Kaya't mabilis sa amin makasitap ng separate intelligence group na kung saan makakounter yung other intelligence group na ating mga military PNP.
Governor Tamayo points out that many threats of violence go unreported in the news because they are intercepted through intelligence gathering. How is this accomplished? By expanding the scope of intelligence operations using confidential funds.
Maraming insidente na posibleng magkakaroon ng bombing pero na-intercept namin na hindi na alam ng tao dahil hindi pumutok. Kasi pag pumutok yung bomba na yan at maraming namatay, tatanungin ano bang ginawa ni Governor? Bakit hindi na-intercept? Ano bang ginawa ng military? Ano bang ginawa ng police?
Meanwhile, Davao del Norte Governor Edwin Hubahib highlighted the substantial impact of confidential funds in the province, especially their battle against the new People's Army.
Yes po, dahil kung wala tayong budget dyan sa confidential, ay hindi talaga natin kaya matapos yung problema. Hindi natin kaya mabigyan ng counter program ang programa ng CPP-NP kasi lahat po ay nangangailangan talaga ng budget at yung budget naman para sa counter-insurgency at sa drugs ay maraming mga budget na nire-request ang ating kasundaluhan at kapulisan at other men in uniforms department na hindi kasama doon sa ating annual budget.
Davao del Norte used to be a stronghold of NPA terrorists, but is now insurgency-free following the successful dismantling of all NPA guerrilla fronts in March 2022, when VP Sara Duterte was still the mayor of Davao. With that, the two governors appealed to the public to stay away from commenting negatively on the use of the confidential and intelligence funds. For Gilas Philippines, I'm Jay Mondihar, SMNI News.
The ongoing Hangzhou Asian Games and the upcoming Para Games have generated millions of dollars of market-developed revenue, with record number of sponsors and amount of sponsorship. The details with Andrea Santos.
The ongoing Hangzhou Asian Games and the upcoming Para Games have brought in a record of 4,417.8 million yuan, or about $614 million in sponsorship from 176 corporate sponsors. The total revenue of market development topped 5,316 million yuan, or $738 million, with nearly 1,500 items of licensed merchandise in 17 categories on sale, the products ranging from silk scarves with Westlake scenery, porcelain imprinted with the Asian Gongchen Bridge, and badges in the shape of lattice window from Song Dynasty.
我们整体的特许商品的销售，截止到昨天呢，已经达到了7.6个亿，也是随着我们赛事的热度的不断增加，通过亚运的特许商品，也带动了大众，尤其是年轻一代对于本土文化的了解。
In addition to revenue gains, the organizing committee has organized more than 60 charities events with the sponsors with more than 780 million people participated online and in person. According to Du, the organizing committee has also launched 2022 Asian Games football dream schools across Asian countries, including China, Malaysia, and the United Arab Emirates, benefiting more than 620,000 teachers and students.
我们深挖亚运梦想的公益品牌，组建了包括赞助企业、公益组织、新闻媒体在内的18家联合筑梦方，多方聚力，形成了具有杭州特色的体育公益的模式。上周呢，我们也刚刚将杭州亚运公益的成果移交给了亚奥理事会，这些遗产将在未来继续传承杭州亚运会的精神力量。 让杭州亚运会在时空纬度上得以长久的延展。
Reporting, this is Andrea Santos, SMNI News.
Russian President Vladimir Putin delivered a speech and answered questions from the audience at the Valdai Discussion Club in Sochi. There, he gave his take on various issues, criticized the West, and talked about the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. Gabriel Diaz has the details.
Russian President Vladimir Putin talked about a range of issues from Russia and Ukraine conflict to the Canadian Parliament's Net Zero at the Valdai Discussion Club. The Valdai Discussion Club is a Russian-based think tank and discussion established in 2004, and recently, Putin spoke on multiple topics with international experts in Sochi. Some of the key takeaways include his criticisms against the West, especially the U.S.
Позволите, наши западные коллеги, особенно из США, не просто устанавливают произвольно такие правила, но и поучают при этом, кто и как должен их исполнять, кто и как должен вообще себя вести. Делается и говорится это все, как правило, в откровенно хамской форме. Это все то же самое проявление вот этого колониального мышления. Все время мы слышим, все время звучит: вы должны, вы обязаны, мы вас серьезно предупреждаем. Вы кто такие вообще? Какое вы имеете право кого-то предупреждать?
Putin also talked about Ukraine's staggering losses in the battlefield. According to the Russian president, more than 90,000 Ukrainian soldiers were killed or seriously wounded in early June. Kiev also lost 557 tanks and some 1,900 armored vehicles. He also said that Kiev cannot function without foreign aid.
По большому счету, украинская экономика без внешней подпитки существовать тоже не может. Сегодня уже все по-другому. Сегодня, смотрите, там все сбалансировано в целом, внешне. И бюджет сбалансирован на Украине, макроэкономические показатели более-менее выровнены. Но за счет чего? За счет ежемесячных многомиллиардных вливаний. Стоит только это прекратить. Все, через неделю все ляжет. Все. То же самое касается системы обороны. Ну, представьте себе, поставки прекратятся завтра.
Putin also said that the work on the Sarmat silo-based intercontinental ballistic missile has effectively been completed and that Russia had successfully tested the nuclear-powered cruise missile called Burevestnik. He then warned that Russia might be forced to revoke its ratification of the 1996 Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty or CTBT because it has yet to be ratified by the US. The Russian president did not rule out mirrored responses to the policies of the US on the matter. Reporting, this has been Gabriel Diaz, SMNI News.
The National Economic Development Authority is confident that the rice prices will go down even after President Bongbong Marcos removed the price cap. MJ Mundaha has the details.
President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. lifted the price ceiling on rice products on Wednesday. As a result, Executive Order 39, which set the price of regular milled rice at 41 peso per kilogram and well-milled rice at 45 peso per kilogram, has been revoked. According to President Marcos, the price of rice has already decreased in both the domestic and world markets. The substantial rice harvest this month was also a significant factor in the decision to remove the price ceiling. National Economic Development Authority or NED expects that rice prices will go down.
The harvest is quite good, and the harvest started. It will peak in October, November.
According to Secretary Arsenio Balisacan, while there is no certainty whether the decrease in rice prices in the world market will be long-term, a reduction in prices in the country is assured.
And we are watching closely whether it continues to decrease or it will rise again. And we will utilize the available policy tools for us to respond to that, especially if this lead to reversal and higher increases in prices.
The Department of Agriculture has predicted a continuous increase in rice prices in the first quarter of the year due to El Nino. According to the latest data from the Philippine Statistics Authority, rice and other cereal products contributed to a 35% increase in the inflation rate. Despite these challenges, Balisacan mentioned that the dynamics of rice pricing are different now.
The expectation was the El Nino would make it difficult or will cause rice production globally to fall. No? But that's not what we are seeing now from the global data on rice. Seeing in fact some positive numbers.
Although the price cap has been lifted, President Marcos assured that the government would continue to distribute cash assistance. Following the implementation of the price ceiling, the government provided cash assistance of 15,000 pesos to affected rice retailers. For Ganabal of Philippines, MJ Mondeha, SMNI News.
China is investing all countries and international organizations to collaborate on Chang'e 8 lunar exploration mission. Miles Magno has more about this. Live, Miles.
National Space Administration, or CNSA, is offering opportunities for international cooperation on payloads that will piggyback China's Chang'e 8 lunar probe mission. The CNSA announced the invitation at the ongoing International Astronautical Congress in Baku, Azerbaijan. The Chang'e 8 mission is a key task in the fourth stage of China's lunar probe. The CNSA said it will carry out more lunar geological detection and research, lunar-based observations of Earth, lunar in situ sampling, analysis and resource use, as well as a small closed terrestrial ecosystem experiments on the moon's surface. The CNSA will give preference to international cooperation bids at mission level involving a collaborative probe and interaction between two spacecraft. The joint development of lunar robots capable of basic operations on the moon's surface and other complementary science payloads and highly innovative science projects are also preferred. The lander of the Chang'e 8 probe will provide a 200-kilogram payload resource, but any standalone module for collaboration on system and single machine levels must be less than 100 kilograms. The deadline for submission of Chang'e 8 proposals for international cooperation is December 31st, 2023. The preliminary selections will be completed by April 2024, while the final selections is scheduled at September 2024. The lunar exploration mission of Chang'e 8 is slated for launch around year 2028. Back to you, David.
Thank you. That's Mayo Magno live on SMNI Studios.
Meanwhile, an Australian-made anti-drone system capable of defeating drones by destroying them mid-air is now on its way to Ukraine. Deivid Suarez has the news.
Ukraine is set to receive the Slinger drone killer system made by Canberra-based Electro-Optic Systems, or EOS, in the coming weeks after the company recently completed its production. The innovative counter-drone system provides precise long-range firepower with a lightweight weapon that can engage targets at a distance of more than 800 meters or about 2,624 feet. The system, which weighs up to 400 kilograms, can be installed on standard vehicles such as pickup trucks, as well as on wheeled and tracked platforms, both civilian and military. 10 of these drones will be delivered to Ukraine by the end of 2023. The total order amounted to approximately $170 million and will help Ukraine protect itself against smaller and low-flying drones. The Slinger also serves as a cheaper alternative to target drones instead of using expensive missiles to shoot them down. Australia will be sending a total of 160 Slinger systems to Ukraine, which will be used by its mobile air defense units. Reporting from New South Wales, this is Deivid Suarez, SMNI News, Australia.
Thousands of healthcare workers in the United States walked off their job and protested to demand for better pay and benefits. Natalia Prado will tell us more live. Natalia?
Yes, Fred. According to reports, tens of thousands of healthcare workers in the United States held what was probably the largest healthcare workers' strike so far in U.S. history.
Shame on Kaiser! Shame on Kaiser! Shame Kaiser! Shame on Kaiser! Shame on Kaiser!
Kaiser Permanente is one of the largest non-profit healthcare systems in the United States, and their healthcare workers walk out of hospitals and medical offices across the country on Wednesday morning to demand better pay and benefits. Over 75,000 employees of Kaiser Permanente walk off the job after their unions and the healthcare company failed to reach a new contract agreement on Tuesday. The strike will continue through Saturday at various locations across the states of California, Colorado, Washington, Virginia, Oregon, and Washington, D.C. Healthcare workers in Los Angeles expressed their difficulties in life due to low pay and unaffordable rent.
This state is very expensive. I love where I'm from. I love my community. I love to be a part of this community. However, the going rate of a one-bedroom is $2,200. That is ridiculous, okay? We all commute. We can't live right here in West LA.
Strikers say the proposed pay raise of 6% is just to keep up with inflation, but is also about working condition and the number of patients they are being asked to care for.
You know, there's a burnout that happens. You can only do that for so many days, have these crazy busy days where you're just nonstop going, you know, trying to use the restroom and get all your water in and still keep up with patients. And the other thing is that the patients don't get the care that they need.
Fred, several large-scale protests have also occurred in recent months, paralyzing companies, various fields, including the automobile and entertainment industries. Back to you, Fred.
Thank you. That's Natalia Prado live on SMNI Studio.
A drone attack at a crowded military graduation ceremony in Syria killed dozens and injured hundreds more. The Syrian government declared a 3-day mourning period as the entire nation mourns for lives lost during the deadly attack. Melchizedek Cadiz reports.
Assalamu alaikum. The government threatened to retaliate after explosive-laden drones launched during a graduation in the Syrian city of Homs killed and injured hundreds of people. The deadly drone attack killed more than 100 people and injured about 240 others as young officers and their families attended the graduation ceremony for officers of the military academy. The strike killed civilians, including children and military personnel. No group have claimed responsibility yet for the attack. Iran's military blamed terrorist organizations supported by international forces for the bombing incident. Syrian Defense Minister Ali Mahmoud Abbas also attended the graduation ceremony but left minutes before the attack. The military vowed to respond with full force while the government declared 3 days of mourning, which started on Friday. The health minister warned that the death toll could rise as many of the wounded were in serious condition. Barakalafikum jami'an kan hada Melchizedek Kadi sa Khbar SMNI, Kuwait.
Meanwhile, Filipino fishermen said that they can still freely fish at Bajo de Masinloc, also known as Scarborough Shoal. Sigrid Castañeda reports.
A Filipino fisherman clarified that they can still fish freely at Bajo de Masinloc or Scarborough Shoal and that they are not being driven away by the Chinese Coast Guard. Anthony Colado, a fisherman from Zambales, said that the Chinese Coast Guard or CCG are letting them fish outside the area.
Wala naman po nang tataboy, pero ang ano doon sir, basta huwag kang dumaan or pumasok doon sa bukana, sigurado haharangin ka nila.
Colado also said that they were harassed by Chinese vessels in 2012. When it comes to fishing, Colado said that there's no difference in fishing inside or outside Bajo de Masinloc, and the only things they fear when sailing are the strong waves, especially when the weather is bad.
Kasi kapag nasa labas kami sir, yung hangin paiba-iba, yung current niya paiba-iba din. Pag nasa loob kami, walang problema kasi mababaw. At pag huli naman sa isda sir, walang problema. Labas o sa loob, okay lang din naman. Ang punto lang namin doon sir, yung makapasok kami sa loob, safety kami sir. Kahit abutan man kami ng low pressure, walang problema.
Meanwhile, when it comes to the floating barrier allegedly placed there by the Chinese Coast Guard, the fishermen said that they have not seen the barrier during the recent visit in the said area.
Nung naglayag kami sir, 2 beses kami pabalik-balik doon sir. Siyempre maganda yung panahon kaya nakakalusot kami.
Anong buwan pa ito sir muna? August pa ito nangyari?
Opo. Tapos siguro 2 weeks ng August, nakadalawang biyahe kami kasi tagi-1 linggo lang. Mga masamang panahon eh. Ngayon, wala naman ako nakitang barrier doon sir. Tapos yung balita, di ba, bago lang. Nakita ko yun. Pero walang barrier na nakalagay doon sir. Wala, lang, barko talaga at saka speedboat sir.
Meanwhile, Colado is hoping that the maritime dispute will be solved, and his message to the government:
panawagan ko lang po sa ating gobyerno, kung ano mang gusot na mayroon kayo sa Philippine Sea sir, sana maayos na ninyo para kaming maliliit na mangingisda at wala nang ibang iniisip na yung kami madisgrasya o sa mga usapin ninyo dyan. Sana maayos na po ninyo ang usapin ng Scarborough sir.
For God and my beloved Philippines, this has been Sigrid Castañeda, SMNI News.
Zimbabwe is facing a major cholera outbreak, with health authorities reporting over 5,000 possible cases and at least 100 suspect cholera-related deaths with the past months. Among these laboratory tests have confirmed 30 deaths of cholera-related. Cholera is a severe diarrhea illness spread through contaminated food and water, particularly in areas with poor situation. The government blames this outbreak on unclean conditions and blocked sewers. To control the disease spread, the government has limited funerals to 50 attendees and discouraged handshakes and food service, mainly in hard-hit areas like Manikalan and Masvingo. The epicenter of the outbreak is Buhera, located in the southeast, but it has not reached 41 different districts across Zimbabwe, including the capital city, Harare. Now, the government is actively working to control the outbreak, protect public health, and prevent further spread of the disease.
The teenage suspect behind the deadly shooting rampage in one of the most popular shopping malls in Thailand was admitted to a psychiatric hospital as advised by a local doctor. Chat Mongon Pisamegozon has the details.
The fatal shooting incident in Bangkok's high-end mall sparked mental health concerns among the Thai youth and sparked calls for tighter gun control in the country. The 14-year-old suspect who went on a shooting rampage that killed 2 foreigners has been admitted to the Ganya Rashana Korean Institute for Psychiatric Treatment as advised by the doctor. Officials from the Department of Juvenile Observation and Protection will keep the boy under observation and will help authorities figure out what motivated the suspect to commit the crime. The teenage suspect faces 5 charges, including murder and attempted murder. The court also did not allow the boy's release on bail. The Justice Minister assured that the teenager would have to undergo all necessary legal procedures and that people affected by the shooting incident would receive compensation. According to Thailand's Public Health Ministry, 10.24% of people aged 18 and younger in Thailand were at risk of depression and 17.68% were prone to suicide. The data was based on the mental health test taken by the agency from February 12, 2022 to October 2, 2023. รายงานจากราชบุรี นายชามงคล วิสมัยโกศล SMN News ประเทศไทย สวัสดีครับ
Many tourists in Japan expressed strong dissatisfaction after Japan started discharging the second batch of treated radioactive wastewater from triple Fukushima nuclear power plant. Ria Saito reports.
Japan's Tokyo Electric Power Company, or TEPCO, started the second phase of wastewater discharge on Thursday morning, which earned disappointment and dissatisfaction among tourists currently in Tokyo. Some 7,800 tons of polluted water were dumped into the Pacific Ocean over a 17-day period of the second batch of the nuclear contaminated water discharge. Currently, international tourists visiting Tokyo are questioning such a treatment method and expressing concerns over its potential environmental risks.
That's not a good idea, I think. So maybe have some other solutions. It would be better.
Some tourists became more cautious about consuming seafood there, knowing Japan has already been releasing treated contaminated wastewater for months since late August.
I love seafood, and Japanese, you have the, sashimi, sushi, it's everywhere. Seafood is a staple within the culture of Japan. So for those visiting, especially if you don't know about that information, that all this waste is being dumped into the water and you're consuming all this food, say you just love seafood and you're just consuming seafood day after day in and day out, of course you're going to get sick.
A tourist from China believes that the environmental effects last longer than they think and will eventually damage the health of future generations.
Last time come here, we eat a lot of sushi, fish, everything. We like it very much. But this time, with child, I think maybe not.
The initial discharge of the nuclear contaminated water began on August 25th, and the whole release will continue for at least 30 years. The TEPCO plans to discharge more than 31,000 tons of diluted toxic water in 4 rounds by the end of March 2024. Many tourists are now cautious of eating seafood since the start of the release of the treated radioactive wastewater into the Pacific Ocean. 以上、日本からニュースをお伝えしました。SMN News, Japan.
Iraq has invited foreign investors to submit their applications as the country prepares to award oil and gas projects to international oil companies. Ronald Mirabel reports.
Assalamualaikum. Iraq, a member of the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, or OPEC, announced earlier this week its plan to award 30 new oil and gas projects in its 5th plus in 6 licensing rounds. The 5th plus licensing round includes 16 new projects, while additional 14 projects await the 6th round. The Arab plans to open more of its untapped oil and gas resources to foreign developers this year to increase revenue, boost crude production, and reduce gas import dependence. Iraq is OPEC's second largest oil producer after Saudi Arabia. Nearly 95% of its national budget comes from oil revenue. The country has been attracting international oil companies to help develop its resources since 2009. Some of the major oil companies operating in the country include ExxonMobil, Royal Dutch Shell, BP, China's CNPC, and Russia's Lukoil. In July, Iran made its biggest single foreign investment in the nation's history after signing a $27 billion agreement with French company Total Energies to develop oil and gas resources that will help improve its electricity supply. International oil companies interested in investing in Iraq will be given until January 2024 to send their letter of intent. Al-Takrir min al-Dawkan Hadarunan Mirabel, SMNI News, Qatar.
Weighing 300 kilograms, a giant freshwater stingray from Cambodia was officially recognized as the world's largest freshwater fish by the Guinness World Records. Anissa de Guzman tells us more.
A 4-meter giant freshwater stingray, discovered by a group of fishermen in the Mekong River last year, was granted the title of the largest recorded freshwater fish in the world. According to the conservation group Wonders of Mekong, a group of fishermen found the endangered flat-bodied fish in Kopria commune of Stungtring province in the Mekong River in 2022. The giant freshwater stingray measures 4 meters or 13 feet from snout to tail and weighs 300 kilograms, making it the largest of its kind in the world. Cambodia is home to 15 types of freshwater and ocean stingrays, with the giant freshwater ray considered nearly extinct. It is one of the 3 giant fish known to inhabit the Mekong. It was released back in the wild after the measurements were completed. Meanwhile, the Mekong River is home to more than 20,000 plant species and 850 fish species and is also one of the richest areas of biodiversity in the world. The giant freshwater stingray can only be found in the Mekong River in parts of Cambodia, Laos, and Thailand. Disha Nanisa de Guzman Rengan Chakuntep Hanakon, SMN News, Pratatay, Sawadika.
And in our sports news, Filipino boxer Yumi Marshall wins silver for the Philippines. Meanwhile, Gilas Pilipinas won gold after overcoming Jordan in the 19th Asian Games finals. RJ Perez tells us more.
Paris Olympics-bound Filipino boxer Yumi Marshall settles for silver in the Asian Games boxing final held on Thursday night. Marshall lost in a tight match against China's Tang Latian, who won the gold medal. Marshall took the first round, where the referee called a standing 8 count. But the Chinese boxer had the last blow in the second round that gave Marshall a standing 8 count. In the third and final round, the 5 judges gave a score in the favor of Tang Latian via unanimous decision. Marshall brought home the second silver medal for the Philippines. And after 61 years, the Philippines will take home a gold medal in the men's basketball team from the Asian men's after Gilas Pilipinas triumph over Jordan 70-60. This marks a huge comeback after Jordan first defeated the Philippines with a score of 87-62 in the preliminary games. To recall, the Philippines won the gold medal in men's basketball in Asian Games in 1962, led by Kaloy Loizaga. It can be remembered that veteran sports broadcaster and analyst Chino Manolo Trinidad expressed confidence that Gilas Pilipinas will be able to triumph against Team Jordan in the finals of the basketball 5-on-5 tournament.
Sa ganap ng alas 8 ay pwedeng pantayan ng ating Pilipinas. Tawagin na ho natin siyang ang ating Philippine team na nandun sa China. Pwede na po niyang tapatan ang nagawa ng team noong 1962. Ganun katagal direct 1962 was the last time we won an Asian Games gold medal in basketball. Bukas, tingin ko, mananalo tayo.
On the other hand, Chino Trinidad challenged Pastor Apollo C. Kibuloy, who is also a sports enthusiast and loves to play basketball.
Pastor Apollo Kibuloy, hinahamon kita ng basketball, hindi ako mananalo sa iyo eh. Alam ko na umiscore ka ng, ilan? 46 na 3-point shots? Sa edad mo na 37? Sayang, lumagpas ka lang ng konti sa edad. Ayan, tingnan mo. Totoo po yan, hindi po.
He runs full court, sir. Full court yan, tumatakbo.
Regular game yan. 46. Ilan 3 points sa susunod? Ako magbabantay sa inyo. Siguro mga 150
Will you play with him?
points.
Will you play with him, sir? Would you dare?
Gagawin ako asintahan eh. Ayaw ko lang.
Ayaw mo, ayaw mo.
Pastor Apollo Sikibuloy shocked the basketball world after he broke his own record and made 138 points from 46 3-point shots at the age of 72 in just one game. For God and my beloved Philippines, this has been RJ Perez as Semana News.
And before we end, may you be inspired with the message of the appointed Son of God. The greatest weapon is the weapon of love.
And for our Christmas countdown is 79 days to go before Christmas. And that's all for today's edition of Newsline World. For more news update, you may visit smi9newschannel.com or follow us on our official social media accounts on Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. For God and Country, I'm Deivid Lira.
For God and Country, I'm Frederico Velloso. Thank you for watching Newsline World, and thank you to our beloved pastor, Pastor Apollo Sikibuloy, for the great opportunity to be part of this program.
May you continue to listen on SMNI as it's delivered nothing but fair, truthful, and balanced news, because SMNI is your source of credible news.